how Bhagavatam is Lord Krishna himself. Yeah? And the Sanshipta summary of Srimad Bhagavatam. First canto of Bhagavatam, second canto, third canto, fourth canto, fifth canto, sixth canto. Now we are in sixth canto. So in the sixth canto, as we have heard, sixth canto is about Poshana, sustenance of our devotion. How Bhagavan cares, nourishes, sustains the devotees. That's the sixth canto. So in that we have heard about Ajamila. Ajamila's sustenance, Poshana or protection was given by Lord Hari in the form of Harinam that we have heard. And the second section today that we are going to hear is related to Parikshit Maharaj's question. So that we will see what that is. And the third section of Poshana, sixth canto, is about Vishwarupa, Indra and Vishwarupa. And after that would be Chitraketu, our hero, Vritrasura, how the Poshana was given to Chitraketu, and Vritrasura is the same person. And then at the end, how the Poshana is given to Diti. Yeah. So this is about the sixth canto. So far we have heard about Poshana by Harinama. So there we heard about how Lord Hari's name is different, it's non-different from Lord Hari, and how the Harinama has protected Ajamila. That's just even Nama Bhasa, the potency of the Nama Bhasa, how even Nama Bhasa also can give liberation to even a very sinful person like Ajamila. The potency of the Harinama and the protection of Harinama to somebody who has taken the name, though they are sinful, that we have heard. And we also have heard about the conversation between Vishnu Dutas and Yamadutas. So that conversation was more about what is this Naimittika Dharma, what is Nitya Dharma, yeah, Dharma of this world and Paradharma. Yamadutas knew only about Dharma of this world, which is pertaining to karma. But Vishnu Dutas, we're talking about Bhagavata Dharma, Dharma of the transcendental realm. We are souls, transcendental entities. So that is our Dharma, Paradharma. That Paradharma or Bhagavata Dharma is Bhakti. How Bhakti is potent, how even Bhakti Abhasa, which gave rise to Nama Abhasa through the Ajamila, how that Bhakti can be potent when compared to this Naimittika Dharma or Dharma pertaining to this Dharma. So that we have heard, the Bhagavata Dharma, Bhakti. So that was all about the first part of sixth canto, Poshana by the Nama. So in the second part of the sixth canto, what happens is we will be hearing more about the progeny of Daksha. And we wonder how is this coming in the sixth canto, right? So we go with the sequence now. The flow is like this. Atra sargo visargascha sthanam poshanamutaya manvantara ishanukada nirodho muktirashraya. 10 subject lines, right? So as we have heard, Atra sarga, primary creation, that was explained, right, in the second canto, more in the second canto. And the visarga was starting in the third canto. Visarga is until from the appearance of Brahma, right? Visarga starts from the appearance of Brahma. So creation of the material elements is primary creation. And creation, secondary creation by Brahma is Visarga. That is starting the third canto. We have heard that, right? So Parikshit Maharaj was hearing this, how the Visarga started and how, the four Kumaras came and then the 10 sages and then Swayambhu Manu. So there the description of the Visarga continued, right? Brahma appeared, then Swayambhu Manu. Then we have heard about Swayambhu Manu's daughter Devahuti, like that, and Kapila Deva, like that. So Swayambhu Manu, his two sons, Uttanapada and Priyavrata, and the three daughters. All these descendants, they were being described. So Devahutis was described in third canto. In the beginning of the fourth canto, the other two daughters of Swayambhu Manu, Devahuti, right? Akuti and Prasuti. So Akuti and Prasutis, their descendants description is given in the beginning of the fourth canto, and then Dhruva Charita started. So Dhruva, Anga Maharaj, Prithu Maharaj, and Prachina Barhishat, and then Prachetas, these are all the descendants of Uttanapada. So until Prachetas, Parikshit Maharaj has heard. Right? And after that, so Prachetas went into the sea and they did the austerities, and Lord Vishnu appeared in the sea and they came out, right? They came out after the 10,000 years of their meditation under the water. And by the time they came out, what happened? So that stopped there. So Uttanapada's descendants stopped till Prachetas there. And then the fifth canto started with Priyavrata. Then Priyavrata, Agnidra, and Rishabhadeva, and Bharata, their descendants, we have heard. So in this way, this much of Visarga was heard. Secondary creation that happened from Brahma was heard. So after describing Bharata Maharaj, during the description of that, in the Priyavrata's dynasty, Priyavrata, he duplicated himself as son, and he was riding in the chariot, and his chariot wheels, they dug seven tunnels, 7 ditches in the Bhumandala. So that's how 7 oceans were formed, right? Because the topic has come, Priyavrata's chariot, 7 oceans, the whole Bhumandala was described. Bhumandala was described, so the whole Brahmanda was described. In this way, the later part of the 5th canto, the sthanam was described. Sarga, Visarga, Atra Sargo, Visargascha, sthanam. Sthanam is placement. Placement of living entities in the Brahmanda is described. And at the very end, when Sukadeva Goswami was talking about the hellish planets, all of a sudden Parikshit Maharaj, he got very much anxious and compassionate about the Jiva. Are Jiva is a transcendental, Adhyatmika Vastu. How can it be prevented from going to hell? He asked that question. And that's why Ajamila Charita came, to show that Ajamila was supposed to go to hell. But see how the Jiva was saved from hell by Bhagavata Dharma, by taking the Nama, like that. So that's why the 6th canto, the first part is Ajamila Charita, where the Ajamila was saved from going to hell by the protection given by Harinam. That's how the first part of 6th canto is that. And now Parikshit Maharaj, now that he has the answer, right? His question was, how can Jiva be saved from going to hell? He got the answer for this. And now his Parikshit Maharaj's question is, okay, I got the answer now, right? Now, would you please continue explaining about Visarga? Remember you talked about Prachina Barishat, yeah? And what happened? Who is the descendants of Prachina Barishat? And how did the creation continue from there? So can you say more about that? That's the question Parikshit Maharaj asked soon after hearing the answer of how a sinful person can be saved from going to hell by Ajamila Charita. And that's why the second topic in the sixth canto is continuation of the Visarga, a part of it. This is a little part of it, but we will see all the living entities of Brahmanda, how they have come in just this little subtopic of sixth canto. Yeah, so that is what we are going to hear now. How did the Visarga continue? What happened after Prachina Barishat Kumaras, Prachetas came out of the sea? Okay, so that is the topic today. We will be hearing about that. Okay, so we will go to this. Fourth chapter of the sixth canto. You are not seeing it. Let me show. Welcome to our original part here. Where is our Parikshit Maharaj, Prachetas, Ram Parikshit Maharaj and Sukadeva Goswami. So the story continues. We'll have darshan of Lord Vishnu. Okay. So, yeah, so this is the continuation. Yeah, Parikshit Maharaj is asking about Visarga. We have asked. So, please recall, dear devotees, all these Prachetas, they went under the sea. They did the tapasya. And remember what happened to Prachetas when they had darshan of Lord Vishnu? This is under the sea. With the darshan of Lord Vishnu, the Prachetas, Sukadeva Goswami described in that canto, the Prachetas, they were doing this tapasya for 10,000 years. But as soon as they had darshan of Lord Vishnu under the water, they felt like all the fatigue that they had for all these years, it just went away. So that's the first feeling they got. So Prachetas, they had darshan and they got the benediction from Lord Vishnu. Yeah, and they came out of the water, the pond there. And they saw that the whole earth was dark because look at these trees here. They grew so big that there was no sunlight passing through their branches. So these Prachetas, they got angry. They got angry at these trees, and with their tapas shakti, they created fire and air. They were creating fire and air. And this combination, with this combination, the fire was spreading everywhere, and all these trees were being burnt into ashes. So, and then when this was happening, one after the other, all the trees on the surface of the earth, they are being burnt into ashes. And this Soma, the moon god, he saw that. The moon rays, they are said to nourish the trees and the vegetation. So that's why he is the god of vegetation, Soma. So Soma, he came to the Prachetas. Okay. He came to the Prachetas and he started speaking. Before going to that, Srila Prabhupada mentions a beautiful point here. Dear devotees, Bhagavatam, whatever all these Bhagavatas are speaking in Srimad Bhagavatam, they are beautiful. And when you have a chance, please read Srila Prabhupada purports. Those are life-saving nectars. Srila Prabhupada beautifully explains everything in the Bhagavatam how we can practically implement that. We hear the shlokas, we hear the import, but there is a little gap between the import and our struggling selves of Kali Yuga. Srila Prabhupada comes in, the saving grace. He translates the whole import there and then tells us how to apply that in our day-to-day life. What kind of thought process we should have and how we should apply that particular verse. Those are saving graces, Srila Prabhupada purports. So this Bhagavata Pravaha is just to give a summary of Bhagavatam. And what Srila Prabhupada purports are irreplaceable. So for this, Srila Prabhupada, he says, these prachetas, they had this tapashakti, and with that tapashakti, they are manyava. They had anger. With their anger, they produced the fire and the air. Srila Prabhupada says, pure devotees, they also have tapashakti, but they are vimanvaya. They do not have anger. They have compassion, pure devotees. And there, Srila Prabhupada says, that is the ornament of a sadhu, a pure devotee. And he quotes Titikshava Karunikaha, Suhrudo Sarvadehina, Ajata Shatrava Shantaha, Sadhava Sadhu Bhushanam. So devotees also have tapashakti, but they are vimanvaya. They do not have anger. They have all these ornaments. They are compassionate. And Srila Prabhupada says, when a devotee has this Trinadapi Sunichena Tarorapi Sahishnuna Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadahari, then his preaching would be effective. So a devotee should have these ornaments of a sadhu in order to the preaching to be effective. That's when the people who take up Krishna consciousness. So Srila Prabhupada was explaining like that in the purport. It was beautiful how he was explaining that the devotees, sadhus also have tapashakti, but their tapashakti is displayed as compassion, vimanvaya, no anger. Like that. Right. So these prachetas, they were burning down the trees, and then Soma God, he comes down. He comes down and says, oh, wait a minute. Prachetas, you are kings. Your father, Prachina Barhishat, by this time, Prachina Barhishat was already enlightened by Narada Muni. He couldn't wait for the sons to come back. Narada Muni is a very potent preacher. Prachina Barhishat, who was such a karmakandi, he couldn't wait to retire and practice bhakti in the forest. So he did not even wait for his sons, Prachetas, to return and sit on the throne. So Prachina Barhishat has gone to the forest. And Prachetas, they were under the water. So the whole planet was without any king. And that's why the trees, it was just not cared for. And that's why the trees were also just grown up like that. So that's the situation. So moon god came and says, oh Prachetas, you are Rajarshis. And your duty is to protect the subjects. And not just the people. Everybody in your kingdom is your subject. These trees are also your citizens. And how can you be angry on these trees like this? Yeah. And then he says, Soma, God says, this will come here. That's a beautiful point. We will get to that soon. But before that, he says, his first argument is, you have to protect your citizens. Yeah, that is your kingly duty. That's first thing. And second thing he says, see, when you go back now and start ruling the kingdom, All your people, they will need something to eat, right? And if you just burn down everything on the earth, what about the nourishment that is given by these trees? Your citizens, your people also need this nourishment. So that's the second reason why you shouldn't be burning out trees like this, like that. And the third point he says is, Supreme Lord, he is the proprietor of everything. This beautiful, beautiful devotee is Bhagavata. Whoever, even if it's a Sakama Bhakta, pure devotees for sure, even Sakama Bhakta like Soma also, they speak about the Supreme Lord. They know that the Lord is the proprietor. So he's reminding, Soma God is reminding these Prachetas. See, you may be thinking, yes, I said you are Rajarshis, but remember, the real proprietor is the Supreme Lord. And all these trees are the properties of the Supreme Lord. So that's one more reason you cannot burn like that. And remember, Supreme Lord is present in everybody's heart. He's saying that. Suhridam Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam Viddeshe Arjuna Tishtati. That's Lord Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita, right? Now, Soma God is also saying that. Lord is present in all the living entities. So they're present in these trees also. So you cannot be just disrespectful to them and then just burn all of them like that. He said that, right? And the fourth one, as a winding down statement, he says something very nice. He says, see, one should inquire about self-realization, and this should subdue the anger. He's indirectly saying, you have inquired about the self-realization, and the anger should be subdued. And this is how one will transcend the modes. This is what Soma says. Moon God says to Prachetas. Here, Srila Prabhupada, he says in the purport. See, this is what Soma is saying to Prachetas. Only these words. Okay. One should inquire about self-realization, and then this will subdue his anger, and this is how he transcends modes. That is it. This is what these personalities in Bhagavatam are saying. Now, Srila Prabhupada, in purport, he explains how anger is generated. Okay. And after that, in the purport, he says, it is very difficult to control anger. All those words that we could relate to. Yes, Prabhupada, it is very difficult. Then what do I do? And then Srila Prabhupada goes, that is why one should be situated in knowledge. So when the emotions sway us, what is our anchor? Prabhupada is saying, this is why one should be situated in knowledge. The tattva. Tattva or knowledge or understanding or shastra. This is all our anchor. When the emotions sway us, one should be situated in knowledge. And then Srila Prabhupada says, not just the anger. He quotes Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. All these are very powerful emotions. And in order to sustain the wrath of these emotions, one should be situated in the knowledge and continue to perform devotional service. So it is not just being situated in the knowledge. Being in Tattva Jnana is to withstand. Why are we withstanding? So we can continue the devotional service. The purpose of withstanding these emotions, these modes, is to continue devotional service. This is Nishtha. When the anarthas hit us hard, we try to sustain with the tattva, with the knowledge, with the jnana. What is the jnana? Okay, these emotions are hitting me. But what is the jnana? What is the sambandha jnana? What is the avideya jnana? What is the prayojana jnana? Okay, these emotions are hitting me, but who am I? Mamaivanse Jiva Loke, Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. I am part and parcel of the Lord. I am the loving, eternal, loving servitor of the Lord. Sambandha Jnana, Tattva Jnana, Tattva or Jnana or knowledge or understanding, same thing. So I am spirit soul. These are the emotions sitting me, but I am Jiva Tattva. And my Sambandha is to Bhagavan. So that is Sambandha Jnana. I am meant to serve the Lord is Sambandha Jnana, right? And so Sambandha is who am I? Who do I belong to? Sambandha Jnana. And Abhideya. So how can I stay connected to the Lord? Is Abhideya Tattva, through the service. Yeah. And why do I stay connected to the Lord? So I can have attachment and love of God. Prayojana Tattva. Sambandha Jnana, Abhideya Jnana, Prayojana Jnana. This Jnana or Tattva, this is our anchor. This is what Srila Prabhupada is saying. We should be situated in the knowledge. What kind of knowledge? This is the knowledge. Sambandha, Abhideya, Prayojana. So if this is my identity as a dear servant of the Lord, and if this is my occupation, the service to the Lord, and if this is my goal, Krishna Prema, love of Godhead, what does these emotions has to do with me that are hitting me hard? Yeah. So situating in the emotions, so we are not situating in the tattva, so we are not swayed with the emotion. And why are we situated in the tattva? So we can continue the service. Srila Prabhupada says that it is the devotional service only that can sustain us in bhakti. So that is a beautiful purport, dear devotees. Here and there, Srila Prabhupada has beautifully said what to do when the emotions hit hard, to situate in jnana, so we can continue in the devotional service. And he makes that statement, Prabhupada, it is only through the devotional service that we can sustain in bhakti and stay transcendental. That's Srila Prabhupada. He gives that in that purport. So, to this small statement of Soma, moon god, Srila Prabhupada explains that. And after that, the Soma god says, okay, now please be appeased. You please cool down. And you are going to, your instruction from your father is to rule this kingdom. And rule the kingdom means you should have a son, right? That is for the kings. You should have a son like that. So now please get ready to rule the kingdom. See, this is, and he presents this lady here. She is Marisha, and she is the daughter of sage and an apsarasa. They couldn't take care of her, so moon god ended up taking care of her through the trees. In other words, she was just born in the forest and was raised in the forest. So she is presented to these prachetas as wife, and then so she gives birth to Daksha. That son's name is Daksha. So this is the Daksha, all that happened in Swayambhu Manu's Manvantara, right? Because one day of Brahma has 14 Manvantaras, right? The very first one is Swayambhu Manu. So this incident, Pracheta's incident, happened in Swayambhu Manu Manvantara. And that's when Daksha was born. We have heard about Daksha in the 4th canto, in the Sati Charita. How Daksha insulted Lord Shiva, right? That was his first life in the Swayambhu Manu Manvantara. There he insulted Lord Shiva, and his head was cut off by Lord Shiva's associate, Veerabhadra, and he got that goat head, right? And after that, he left his body, Daksha. And now he's taking birth again in this Manvantara, Chakshusha Manvantara. After Swayambhu Manu, Swarochisha, and Uttamatama Saraivata Chakshusha. Sixth Manvantara, Daksha, is the same soul. Daksha there, with that goat head, he left the body and now he's being born. He's being born to the Prachetas in this Chakshusha Manvantara because he's the king here. The Pracheta's son is Daksha. So this is happening in the Chakshusha. I'm sorry about that. Chakshusha Manvantara. But the very first birth of Daksha was in the Swayambhu Manu, where he insulted Lord Shiva. And then his life was ended there after that head, goat head. And this is his second birth as the king, because he's being born to the Prachetas. Because Prachetas, they come very late. Swayambhu Manu is the first one. So that's the first life of Daksha, where he insulted Shiva. And this is the second life of Daksha as a boy that is born to Prachetas. Okay. So here one thing. Daksha was a Brahmana in his first birth. And he insulted Lord Shiva. Here the same Daksha is not a Brahmana anymore. He's being born as a king, Kshatriya. Why is it like that? Because Daksha, though by birth he was a Brahmana, he was so passionate. He was so angry and envious towards Lord Shiva. This angry, envious, is all Rajoguna. Brahmanas are supposed to have more of Sattva. So Daksha was having more of Rajoguna, passion. That does not fit in a Brahmana body. That fits in a Kshatriya body. So his next life was, that's why he's a Kshatriya, born as a Kshatriya. Here one thing, dear devotees. This Daksha has changed his bodies, right? That was a Brahmana body. He's in a Kshatriya body now. Only the bodies have changed. Did any change happen internally? It's the same passion that was there when he was in the body of a Brahmana. It's the same passion that is there in the body of a Kshatriya now. So here, it's not so much about changing the bodies. In other words, it's not so much about the life and death that is most important. It is very much about what is the consciousness at the time of death. And as a matter of fact, at any point of time, the $1 million question is, what is my consciousness? Not what is my body. What happened to Daksha here? The body's changed. And the consciousness is the same. So it's more about what is my consciousness than what is my body. Is it birth or is it death? So not so much about the death, but it should be very much about the consciousness before we leave the body. Yeah. So it's more about the consciousness than the body. And again, this consciousness, change in the consciousness does not have to wait until we leave the body. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he brought the treasure from the Goloka. And when we receive the mercy as it is being given, our body inside changes, our chitta changes. So the change in the chitta inside is more important than the change in the gross body outside. Okay, so Daksha is born here to the Prachetas. And after he's born, of course, he was made king, and the Prachetas, they retired as usual, like Prachina Bharshit. So Daksha is an expert in procreation. Daksha he starts creating. He starts creating. He tries to continue the secondary creation. He creates some demigods, some human beings, beasts, and birds like that. He does some creation, but it doesn't go well. He was not satisfied. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura says in his comment, in one of the slokas, it comes out that Daksha did not have a son. So he could not create any male. So he was not satisfied with his creating capacity. So he decides to go do the tapasya and please Lord Vishnu so he can have more procreatory energy, procreating capacity. He is also going to Lord Vishnu. It means he is also starting devotion. But what is the intention? To have more procreatory capacity. Right? So Daksha goes to Vindhya mountains. And there is a place called Agamarshana. Agamashrana. Agamashrana. That's at the Vindhya mountains. So there he goes and he does the tapasya. This is nice. All these Rajarshis, everybody, before they get married, before they take up the kingdom, they go do the tapasya. All the Rajas, they are Rajarshis. So Daksha also comes and his intention is to please Lord Vishnu. So he comes and he recites Hamsaguhya prayers. Like Prachetas, what did they recite under the sea, under the water? Those are Rudra Gita, the prayers given by Rudra. Right? He's a Vaishnava. The Hamsaguhya prayers are not the original prayers of Daksha. And again, he's such a passionate soul. And these are not the original prayers of Daksha. These are the prayers present in the Vedas, a certain part of the Vedas, but are being recited by Daksha. So what does the prayer say? The prayers are beautiful though, because they are from the Vedas. So first thing in the prayers is, first he says, these are again prayers. So this is his meditation going on, the prayers going on at the Vindhya mountains. He says, "Oh Lord, you are the supreme controller. You are omniscient. You are unlimited. And you are source of everything. You are very pure. And you are realized only by expert devotees." So he's talking about the Bhagavata. This is the sequence for every prayer in the Bhagavatam, dear devotees. If we take Kunti Maharani prayers, and then the prayers of the Dwarakavasis, and their prayers of Bhishma, everybody, they address the tattva one after the other. Yeah, they address the Bhagavad tattva. See, Daksha is also doing the same thing. I mean, he's borrowing the prayers from the Vedas, but again, the format is the kind of same. So this is about Bhagavad tattva. Okay, the Bhagavan, you are the controller, you are omniscient, you are unlimited, you are pure, and you are realized by expert devotees. That's one thing. And second thing is the Maya, Shakti Tattva, which is Maya here. So illusory energy. So this illusory energy, you are not born by this illusory energy or any product of this illusory energy. And later on, he talks about the jivas. He says, like the jivas, the souls can see the matter. Yeah, like the soul, we are able to see the body. We are able to see the matter, right? So like the jiva can see the prakriti, can see the matter, but the matter cannot see the jiva. Yeah. So the soul can see it, but this body is dead without soul. So the body cannot see the soul. In the same way, Daksha is some Hamsa prayers are like this. As the soul can see the material nature, but material nature cannot see the soul. In the same way, you, O Supreme Lord, Super Soul, you can see the soul, but the soul cannot see you on its own accord. That's what he says. And then he also says, how this soul is so much caught up with these material elements. Bhumirapur analo vayu kammano buddhirevacha ahankara itiyam me bhinna prakritirashtada. All these material elements. The soul is caught up in these material elements. So it cannot perceive you. And he also says, you are something that can be perceived when there is no movement of the gross body, no movement of the mind, not when the mind is deep asleep. You are perceived in that state, which is not in these three states. It sounds too technical, right? What he's saying is, no movement of the body, no movement of the mind. What he's saying about is the four states of consciousness. First state of consciousness is Jagruti. Second state is Nidra. Third state is Sushupti. Fourth state is Turiya. Yeah? Jagruti is wakeful state. In wakeful state, there is a lot of movement of the body. Right? And the second state, Nidra state, there is no movement of the body, but a lot of movement of the mind. That's why the dreams come in Nidra, in the sleep. Third state is Sushupti, where the mind is dissolved. Deep sleep, no dreams. But that is not the transcendental state. Beyond the Sushupti is Vishuddha Sattva or Turiya. O Supreme Lord, you are present. You are perceived in that state of Turiya. So, that personality that is present in the state of Turiya, may he be pleased with my tapasya. This is what Daksha is saying. Okay. So in this way, Daksha is saying his prayers like this. And Daksha is also saying, because a jiva is can be entangled with all these material elements and with all these movements, he will not be able to perceive you. That's what Daksha said. True, right? What does Srila Prabhupada say there? Srila Prabhupada comes in, he says, he talks about Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. How this tapasya is, there are two beautiful words which says, one is easily possible and the other one is very difficult. Sugocharam and Pushgocharam. Beautiful Sanskrit words. But so the easily possible tapasya is the Vishuddha Sattva, the Turiya that is present. Oh Lord, you are present in that state and you are appreciated in that state. That's what Daksha is saying. Now, in that state, the absolute truth can be present in three forms. The Brahman form, Paramatma and Bhagavan. Right? So, realization of Brahman and Paramatma are easy tapasyas. But realization of Bhagavan is very difficult. That's a commentary of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. And Srila Prabhupada says, yes, the realization of Bhagavan is very difficult. Yes, as Daksha is saying, as the Hamsa Guhya prayers are saying, it's very difficult for the jiva to get through these layers of Bhumirapur Analova, these are material elements, the physical layer, Annamaya Kosha, mind and intelligence, It's difficult for the jiva to see through this physical layer, mental layer, penetrate through the physical boundary, mental boundary, intellectual boundary, and situate in the Vishuddha Sattva is very difficult. That's what Hamsaguhya prayers are saying. Yes, it is difficult, but Srila Prabhupada says, for a pure devotee, none of these are obstructions, because a pure devotee sees all these material elements as the energy of the Lord. And he simply prays, Ainanda tanuja kinkaram patitam mam vishame bhavam buddha kripaya tava pada pankaja stitadhuli sadrisham vichintaya. In this way, pure devotees have no obstructions and can see Krishna face to face. That's Srila Prabhupada's purport. That a devotee sees everything as Krishna's energies. And in the previous purport, as Srila Prabhupada says, he navigates through this by anchoring to the knowledge and the service. And this is how a pure devotee sees Krishna face to face. So that's the explanation, beautiful one that Srila Prabhupada gives there. So here Hamsaguhya prayers are this only. How much could we relate from these Hamsaguhya prayers? Very beautiful to hear when it's coming to the application part, how much Srila Prabhupada has brought the whole Bhagavatam into us, applied it, and then said, okay, this is how you do, this is how you think. So like that, Srila Prabhupada says that nothing is an obstacle for a pure devotee, because he sees everything as the energy of the Lord. So in this way, Daksha, he does the prayers, and then course, Lord Vishnu, he gives the darshan on the Garuda, standing on the shoulders of Garuda, beautifully standing. And he has, this is 8-armed form of Vishnu. Based on the inclination and desire of the devotee who is doing the tapasya, the Lord appears accordingly. He has different weapons in his hands. He's standing on the Garuda, and the kiritam, the helmet, is very nicely, beautifully decorated with gems. And of course, behind, when the very important person comes, behind is all his escorting associates, all the residents in the upper planetary systems, they are there behind, singing his glories. So that's how Lord Vishnu gave darshan to Daksha. And he says, oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Lord Daksha, when he had darshan of Lord Vishnu, what happened to him? Prachetas, when they had darshan of Lord Vishnu, we have heard that all their fatigue has gone away and they felt very pleased. Daksha, when he had darshan of Lord Vishnu, he was scared for momentarily. Such a passionate person inside, all of a sudden Vishuddha Sattva. So he was scared momentarily. And after that, he fell down onto the ground like a stick, paying obeisances. And then he started feeling better. Started feeling better, and he started feeling very pleased inside. Yeah. And again, he didn't have any word to utter. That our Dhruva also, he couldn't utter a word. Daksha could not utter a word here. But Daksha's desires are very well known to Paramatma. He's sitting in the heart. So even before, even when Daksha did not utter a word, Lord Vishnu knows why he has done the tapasya. How much eager he has to have that procreating energy. Yeah. And so Lord Vishnu says, I know why you're doing this. Yes. He says, I'm pleased with you. You're actually helping me, Daksha, because this Brahmanda needs to be filled anyway. So procreation has to happen. The jivas have to get the bodies. So you're actually doing my service. I am pleased. I'm very much pleased. And I know you are really wanting to procreate. Yeah. So accept Ashitni. So that's the name of his wife. So if you accept this person as wife, and then yes, you can procreate profusely. And not only you, your children also will have intense procreating desire. They will be captivated by Maya. So in this way, yes, you can fulfill my desire, fulfill your desire. So Lord says that. Bhagavatam, and here Lord Vishnu says, you have pleased me. You have pleased me and I'm giving you this boon. Then this makes us think, what? Here is this person, so lusty, such passion, and he is doing tapasya for Lord Vishnu, and here Lord Vishnu is coming and saying, oh yeah, I am pleased with tapasya and I'm giving you this boon. Is this devotion? He's calling so he can have this procreating capacity. We may think like that, right? Yeah. Whatever may be the reason, if they're calling Lord Vishnu or Krishna, then that is devotion. Because they are looking up to the Lord. That's devotion. But what kind of devotion is that? That's the second thing. Is the devotion in ignorance, devotion in passion, or devotion in goodness, or pure devotion? Here, Daksha, it is clearly he has this passionate desire. Then what do the Lord do? For Daksha, he has worshipped the Lord with such intense desire to procreate. Exactly as his desire, he said, okay, tadastu, so it be, not only you, your children also will do this. So as you approach, so do I reciprocate. Same thing, dear devotees. Kardama Muni, he was also given instruction by Lord Brahma to procreate. Was he like Daksha? He was like, he took that as an order, a responsibility. And when Lord appeared, how did the Lord feel when he saw the Kardama Muni? Tears rolled down the cheeks of the Lord with the affection for Kardama Muni and formed Bindu Sarovara. And how did Kardama Muni offer his prayers? Oh Lord, is this why I should call you? You can give benediction, you can take us back home, back to Godhead. But look at my condition. I was asked to procreate as a Prajapati. So for that reason, I don't feel good, but I have done that, call you for that reason. But please be merciful upon me. So his approach was like, what am I doing? I'm calling you for this reason. So he understood. He was not so passionate, thinking, oh, I needed to procreate, so I need to get Lord Vishnu's help. He was not in the passionate mode. He was in the mode of goodness, in the sense he was accepting the instruction as a responsibility. And to make that responsibility as a service, then he was calling out to Lord Vishnu. And how did Lord Vishnu reciprocate to Kardama Muni? He said, yes, I know a beautiful wife is already arranged for you, but I also know your devotion. So this is past goodness. Goodness is just accepting the responsibility, right? Doing the procreation as a responsibility, not in a very passionate manner like Daksha, with indulgement. So what did the Lord say? Yeah, you had to call me, and yes, you are given this order by your father Brahma. Okay, there is a good match for you, and you will get a good wife. Putting that aside, I also know your devotion. I am going to come as a son. for you. That's an extra boon to Kardama Muni. So, ye yada mam prapatyante tam tadaiva bhajami. Lord has reciprocated the devotion of Kardama Muni also and came as Lord Kapila Deva. And then Kardama Muni at the end, he could be in the Samadhi of Paramatma. Wherever he went, he saw Paramatma. So like that. So he was also given the instruction to procreate, but that was done for a little bit of time as a matter of responsibility in the mode of goodness. Then, with the result, the daughters were there and Kardama Muni also, Kapila Deva was also there. So this is the difference. Both are devotees, but the result, one is doing it in the passion, the other one was doing in the goodness and also had devotion. That's the difference. Okay, so the Lord gave that benediction to Daksha. And now Daksha, Daksha, Daksha now he marries his wife, this person, Ashitni. So Ashitni is the wife of Daksha, and he begets 10,000 sons. Daksha, he is expert in procreation. He begets 10,000 sons, and they are all called Haryavas. Haryavas, 10,000 sons. So Daksha says, okay, all of you sons, now I am ordering you. All of you go to the forest, do the tapasyas, and you have to come back and beget more children, create progeny. That's the order of Daksha. So these Haryasvas, they go to this very potent place, Narayana Sarovar. Narayana Saras. Yeah, Narayana Saras. He goes, all these 10,000 sons, they go there. And the potency of the place, Narayana Saras, was so good, so potent that these Haryasvas, when they touched the water of Narayana Saras and started performing austerities, they wanted to become, these Mahabhagavatas. They wanted to enter into renounce order. As they were being purified, so that is what their inclination was. They were more attracted to renunciation. But the order from their father was to procreate, to create progeny. So these 10,000 sons, they were doing the austerities in order to get the strength for progeny, because that was the instruction, that was the order from their father. Narada Muni came there, the transcendental spaceman. He knows that their inclination, the 10,000 sons' inclination, is actually to go beyond this material, to renounce this material pleasures, material world. So Narada Muni, he starts preaching. 10,000, all of them, they were sitting here. One person, Narada Muni. He uses only 4 shlokas. 10,000 students, 4 slokas. In these 4 slokas, Narada Muni uses only few words. This is more like an allegorical story. You know the allegorical story of Puranjana that he spoke with Prachina Barishit? They were chapters, but here only 4 slokas. Please look at the potency of Narada Muni. Devotional potency. He uses 4 slokas, and in these 4 slokas, there are only few words here. So he uses these words. And all these 10,000 sons, they hear these few words coming out from Narada Muni. These are all like codes in an allegorical story. They are not straight words. But all these 10,000 sons, all of them understands and interprets this coding in the similar fashion, in the same fashion, and comes to one conclusion. It is not worth getting entangled in this material world. Let's just renounce. That's the conclusion of all the 10,000 sons. And Narad Muni did not say a word directly. So what is it that Narad Muni said? What are those codes and how did they understand it? That is here. So Narad Muni says, Adrishta Tvantam Bhuvo. He said, oh, you are 10,000 sons of Daksha. You haven't seen the extremities of this earth. Yeah. And Tathaika Purusham Rashtram. In this kingdom, there is only one Purusha, one king. Yeah. And he also says, there is a hole in this kingdom where once anybody enters through this hole, they will not come back. Also in this kingdom, there are unchaste prostitute. There is an unchaste prostitute that is changing their dresses. And there is and the prostitute's husband is also in this kingdom. And there is a river flowing in both directions. And there is a house made of these 25 elements. Also, there is a speaking swan that vibrates different sounds. And there is a revolving object with sharp razors. By the way, if you don't understand all this, how can you be progenitors? Do you really understand who your actual father is and what his actual order is? And is it all worth doing? Kim asat karma bhir bhavet? Kim, why? Asat karma, temporary actions, bhavet, originate. So why do you have to originate these temporary actions? This is all Narada Muni said. All this code language. Kingdom, you don't know the extremities of the earth. There's only one king there. There's prostitute there, prostitute's husband there, river there. What is this? And all these 10,000 sons, they have understood without any help. Clearly understood, and all of them came to the same conclusion. How? This is how they understood. The extremities of earth means this material body. This body is like an encagement. Yeah? And the soul is inside the body. So this is one code decoded. Extremities of the earth is a material body, and there's only one king there. That is the super soul is sitting in the body. And the whole, once you enter, will not come back, is to the Vaikuntha. Yadhamana nivartante. So whoever enters that realm will not return. That is the whole. And it can also mean the patala is also a hole where you enter and do not return. That is in a negative sense. But here, what suits in this coding is, decoding is, this hole is the hole that takes us to Vaikuntha, and once gone to Vaikuntha will not return back, transcending the modes. And this prostitute changing the dresses is unsteady intelligence. This unsteady intelligence is really troubling. The husband of this intelligence is Jiva. Jiva is bewildered with this always changing intelligence, saying this, I want this. I want this for my satisfaction. This is good for me. That is good for me. Always changing intelligence of the modes. Jiva is the husband. And the Maya, the river, it has two directions. That is creation and destruction, the material world. Maya. The house is made of 25 elements. Do you remember, dear devotees, all those 25 elements we have heard in the second canto during the Sarga? Those 25 elements. 10, the Panchabhutas, the 5 Panchamahabhutas, 5 Tanmatras, 5 Karmendriyas, 5 Jnanendriyas, 1 mind, intelligence, and Ahamkara, and Mahatattva, and Pradhana, all of them. And the speaking swan are Shastras. They're all present. And this body is subjected to this wheel, the time. And do you understand your real father's instruction? Who is the real father here? The Lord. The real father instruction is the scriptural instruction. So in this way, they have understood what Narada is trying to say, decoded, and then they have decided, no more procreating business, no more entanglement in this Maya. We want to do this. With 4 slokas, Narada Muni has transformed 10,000 sons of Daksha. And Daksha heard this. He feels so disappointed. 10,000 sons gone. And then Brahma has to come down, had to appease Daksha. Okay, it's okay, Daksha, that's fine. Then you can create more of sons. Try next time. Then this time 1,000 Shavalaswas. So Daksha gives birth to 1,000 Shavalaswas. And the same order there is. They also go to the same place. By this time, all the 100,000 sons, they are all renunciants. These 1,000 sons, they go there. Same Narayan Saris, same path, same touching the water. They also felt like wanted to renounce because of the potency of the place. But again, same thing. They have this order from their father. So they have to procreate. Same scene. Narada Muni comes there. And this time, not even 4 verses. He says only 2 things. One is, according to the Vedic custom, the younger brother follows the elder brother. So, what does the affectionate younger brothers do? Just follow the older brothers, the elder brothers. That's it. So he speaks that, and then there's 1,000 sons. They are also transformed, and they also become renunciants. And this news, it goes to Daksha. It angers him so much, and it troubles him so much. Daksha is very upset by this time. But Narada Muni is thinking, okay, I have liberated that 100,000 sons. I have delivered the next 1,000 set of sons. Daksha is so much entangled. So I should give mercy to Daksha too. Because Priyavrata, I instructed Priyavrata, and I instructed Dhruva, after that Prachetas also, and then Prachina Barishat, and Uttanapada also, and all these his sons here, Haryashvas, all of them. So Daksha also should get some mercy. So let me go to Daksha. Narada Muni goes to Daksha. By this time, Daksha is very angry and very disappointed, and he felt very insulted and hurt also. Daksha, he couldn't hold his anger, and he starts cursing Narada. He yells at Narada. He says, "You are an asadhu. You are in the garb of a sadhu, but you are an asadhu. And you have brainwashed this innocent voice." Narada Muni did not brainwash. Brainwashing is by force. Narada Muni saw what is the real inclination of these sons when they touched the Narayana Saras. So he only transformed their consciousness. He did not brainwash by force. So they were already inclined towards the renunciation. They were already more like ripened fruit. Right? But Daksha is saying, you are an asadhu, but Narada Muni is not so. And what you did was a papa. These are all innocent sons, and they are not freed from the debts of the pitras, debts of this. This is all karmakandic mentality. Daksha is speaking from a karmakandic mentality, and Narada has operated on a Bhagavad Dharma mentality. The karmakanda mentality of passion is now encountering the Bhagavad Dharma. Narada Muni carrying the Bhagavad Dharma. So in this scene, we can see how Daksha is he still worshipped Lord Vishnu. So he's also doing devotion. How bhakti in passion contrasting with pure devotion. Here, with this encounter with the seat deity, this would be the end of our Katha today. But this is a very good opportunity for us. If you can, you may please visualize this is bhakti in passion, bombarding and insulting the person with pure devotion. And here Daksha is saying, you are an asadhu. You have done papa. You did not let my sons clear their debts to the pitras, to different people. But Narada Muni, a Vaishnava's duty. Vaishnava, when he takes shelter of the Lord, he's clearing all the debts. So in Bhagavad Dharma, whatever Daksha is saying doesn't hold good. So he's not a papa. And he goes, without compassion. And you were without compassion, shamelessly you have brainwashed them. This is what Daksha is saying. You have no compassion. So Daksha is thinking, you did not let these boys enjoy their life materially. You have no compassion. So his definition of compassion is, why didn't you let them enjoy materially? In other words, entangle materially. Yeah. So you have no compassion. You have done this shamelessly. And next thing is, he says, you are a breaker of friendship. You come in between these family members and you break it, because he has gone between Hiranyakashipu and Prahlada also, right? Yeah. So you come in between these families and members and break it. This is how most of the movies depict, right? This is the karmakandic thinking. The thinking that is based on the modes under the effect of passion. This is how Narada Muni is portrayed in most of the movies. Yeah? But he is a performer of Bhagavata Dharma. He is delivering everybody. He has delivered Prahlada. By delivering Prahlada, Hiranyakashipu also got delivered. So such Bhagavata Dharma, transcendental to the passion, that Daksha doesn't understand. And Daksha also says, what you have done is you have just changed their dresses. They were supposed to be in grahasthas, but you have put saffron cloths on them. You have made them change the dress. And that is not appropriate. What Daksha said is correct. You cannot just, by changing the dresses, just making somebody, forcing somebody to change the ashrama, changing the dress is not right. But what Narada Muni did is, he did not just make them change the dress. He changed their consciousness, transformed their consciousness. So in this way, Daksha insults Narada Muni. And at last he says, I am cursing you. You are a stain to the devotee, to the in the crowd of devotees. So except you, all the devotees of Vishnu are glorious. So I am cursing you. You will not have any residence to stay. You will always constantly travel. So for Daksha, staying in one place, opulently enjoying again, so-called enjoying this material opulences, is a boon, is a pleasure. And Daksha wanted to take away this pleasure from Narada Muni, as if Narada Muni cares for this. So that's why his curse is, you are not going to have any pleasures, opulences by staying in one place. So you just have to travel. That is Daksha's curse. He's thinking he's cursing. But Narada Muni is beyond these opulences and anything anyway. And if the sadhus are traveling everywhere, it is good for them, good for everybody also. So in this way, his curse has become the boon of Narada Muni. So this is how Daksha curses. And this is how a thinking in a passion can be. And this is how not only devotees in the mode of passion, or when we are in the mode of passion, we tend to see things like this. Not only the devotees, but in general, people also who does not understand devotion, they think like this. But what is actually happening in reality? Bhagavat Dharma, delivering the souls, yeah, and bringing them out of the miseries is happening. That they do not see. So Srila Prabhupada says in this context, this is our situation also. Srila Prabhupada is saying about himself. We are going around the world. We are not appreciated in India because the Smarta Brahmanas thinks that we are taking all these Westerners and we are making them Brahmanas. So they are upset about us. Us in the sense Srila Prabhupada is saying upset about him. And these Westerners also, when we try to convert them to the devotees and then give them devotion, their parents are not happy. And they curse us. So our situation is also like this. We are walking in the path, in the footsteps of Narada Muni. Regardless of whoever thinks what, our business is to satisfy the Lord. So this is the path of the preachers. Srila Prabhupada says that. So, and here, and the last thing is, during this time, the contrasting, when we are saying, what was the thought of Daksha? What were the words of Daksha? What are the actions of Daksha, who is personified passion, even though he was doing devotion? What is the thought of Narada Muni, words of Narada Muni, and the action of Narada Muni? The thought of Daksha was, I am right, you are wrong. I did good, you did bad. I am superior, you are inferior, because I did right, you did wrong. The thought of Daksha was looking down on Narada Muni. The words of Daksha were harsh and far from truth. When somebody wears the red glasses and looks around, everything appears red to them. The whole world is red world for them. But red world is not the truth. It's because of the glasses. In the same way, Daksha, all his words were harsh and not truth. They are not true. And third thing, what did he do? He cursed Narada Muni. What did Narada Muni do? What is his thought, Narada Muni's thought? He was compassionate to Daksha, though Daksha was looking down on Narada. He was thinking, oh, I came here to deliver him. He's so caught up in this sense gratification. Oh, not disturbed a bit, compassionate. What are the words of Narada? None. He didn't say a thing, Narada. All throughout this cursing, all he said is, as you say, I take it. And what did he do? Narada Muni did not quickly walk out from that place. He sat there. Why did he sit there? Though Daksha was insulting him so much, he wanted Daksha's anger to just come out. Let all that come out so he can think through and then make corrections later. So he wanted Daksha to have that opportunity. So he had no problem staying there and bearing it. That's Mahabharata. That's pure devotee. That's the devotion in purity, pure devotion. Contrasting devotion in passion to pure devotion. Titikshva karanikaha, suhrudo sarvabhuta, ajata shakrava shantaha, sadhava sadhubhusha. That's Narada. So that's between Daksha and Narada Muni, and Narada Muni accepts so-called curse. And after this, this is the last one. This is just for FYI. There's nothing much to talk about this. After this, Daksha, he did not attempt to procreate, to give birth to sons. Now he has PTSD, post-traumatic, because these sons were all made as renunciants. Now Daksha thought it's better to just create daughters, and they cannot be made renunciants. So he gives birth to the daughters through his wife Ashikni, 60 daughters. And all the 60 daughters, they were married to this exalted Prajapatis. And this is just all FYI, 60 daughters. Some 10 of them are married to Yamaraja, 17 of them to Kashyapa, 27 to moon god Angira, and Bhuta and Krishashva. Okay. Here, 2-3 points that are of more interest to us is, you see, please, Nandi is also born here, and Harsha, Shoka, Bhaya, those are emotions actually. They were also born, and different various cities are also born. Look at this, cities are being born, the emotions are being born, and the Shishumara planetary system was born. And where are these Manushya's born? Yeah. Oh, here, by the way, Garuda. Lord Vishnu's carrier Garuda is born, and Aruna, the charioteer of sun god, he is born to Vinata, yeah, Kashyapa and Vinata. So their combination gave birth to these. And Manushyas, they are born here. Where are they? Here, human species. To Aryama, when Kashyapa and Aditya are united, all these 12 Adityas are born, and Aryama is one of them. He marries Matraka, and here the human species are born. These are few of us which might interest us. But to summarize this whole chapter, this is what happened. All these daughters, they gave rise to different species. How are they really in the form of human beings? If so, how can these reptiles come? How can these avians, the birds, come? How can these horses come? These personalities, I mean, Vyasadeva, he was born, and within one muhurta, which is 45 minutes, he was born and he was 16 years old and ready to write. So those are the personalities that we are hearing from Bhagavata. So these are the daughters of Daksha. We don't exactly know their forms, but in any case, all the creation, different species, 8,400,000 species, all of them, different species came out from different daughters through different Prajapatis, and they populated the whole Brahmanda. So birds from one mother, reptiles from different mother, all these apes, mammalians from one Yeah, like that, the trees, the forest from one, the horses from one mother, and the lions and tigers from one mother, like that. So this is how the secondary creation has happened. In this way, the whole Brahmanda is populated. This is Visarga, and this is how Daksha has continued the Visarga through his daughters, and how the whole Brahmanda is populated. And after this, after hearing this, in the very last word here, Parikshit Maharaj asks this question now. When Sukadeva Goswami is saying, yeah, so there is this Twashta who is a Aditya, but he married Rachana, who is a daughter of Daitya. Daitya is Rakshasa. So a combination of this Twashta and Rachana gave rise to these personalities, Sannivesha and Vishwarupa. This Vishwarupa, though he is born of a Daitya mother, he became the priest of demigods. When Brihaspati was upset and left the heaven, this is what Sukadeva Goswami says at the very end. Then Parikshit Maharaj says, what? Vishwarupa? He is born in the womb of a Daitya, a demon, but became the priest of demigods? What is that story? Can you please tell me? That brings us to the next topic about Vishwarupa. Why did Brihaspati leave the heaven? Why was he upset with Indra? That is the third part of the Poshana, sixth canto about Vishwarupa and Indra. That would be in the next session, dear devotees. That's it. So that's about the secondary creation in a nutshell. What did we hear? How did the secondary creation come into the sixth chapter? This is because of the question of Sukadeva Goswami. To please continue to explain what happened to Prachetas. Can you continue the Visarga from there? And the narration goes on. Pracheta's son, Daksha. In the first birth, he was in Swayambhu Manu. In the second birth, he is in the Chakshusha, Manvantara, born as son of Prachetas. There we have discussed about how the passion continued from the Brahmana body to the Kshatriya body. So what matters is our chitta inside, consciousness, not so much about the body or change in the body that we have heard. And then again, Daksha, the Prachetas, when they came out, they were very angry. And then they were burning the forest. There we have heard from Srila Prabhupada that not only those Prachetas who had the Tapashakti, even the devotees also have Tapashakti. But they don't have the anger. They are Amanvaya. They don't have the anger. They have compassion. And then he says about the different ornaments of his sadhu, bhushana of his sadhu. After that, we have heard about the Soma. He's giving different reasons why he should not burn the trees. And one of those beautiful reasons are the Lord is present in every living entity, including these trees, and the Lord is the proprietor. After that, he says, with self-realization, anger should be subdued. And that's how you overcome the modes. There, Srila Prabhupada has beautifully explained that when emotions hit us, then we should be situated in the knowledge and continue in the devotional service. That is how we transcend the modes. That's what we have heard from Srila Prabhupada. And after that, then the Daksha is born, and he goes to the Vindhya mountains and does the tapasya. Yeah? And the Hamsaguhya prayers. We have heard all the Hamsaguhya prayers about the Bhagavad Tattva and how he is not caught up with the illusory energy, but Jiva Tattva is there. And the Jiva cannot perceive Bhagavan because of all these impediments materially. Then Srila Prabhupada says, yes, there are impediments materially, but a devotee, for pure devotee, there are no impediments because he looks everything as the energy of the Lord. In this way, a pure devotee can make his way through these material impediments by praying, Ainanda Tanuja Kinkaram Patitamam Vishame Bhavam Buddha. Kripaya Tavapada Pankaja Stitatuli Sadrisham Vichimpayam. In this way, a devotee sees Lord Krishna face to face. Srila Prabhupada says that. And after that, Daksha, Lord appears to Daksha, and Ye Yadamam Prapatyante Tanstadaiva Bachamyaham. Daksha had so much of lust and passion inside that he wanted to have procreating capacity, and Lord gives that to him. And he also says, not only you, but your children, they also will have that procreating capacity. And that's why all the daughters they could create with the Prajapatis, they could just fill the whole Brahmanda. So Daksha goes, and we have heard 10,000 Haryashna was they went, and how Narada Muni has liberated them just with the 4 verses by the allegorical story. And after that, the 1,000 sons, Shavalas they were also liberated. And then Daksha, Narada wanted to liberate Daksha and goes there, but Daksha is so furious, angry, and feels insulted, and he's distressed. There we saw the interaction of Daksha, who is embodying passion in devotion, interacting with a Mahabhagavata, who is embodying pure devotion. There we have seen in comparison how the thought, the word, and action can operate in passion, as in Daksha, and how Narada Muni, his thought was compassion, his word was none but just to accept, and his deed was just to tolerate in the best interest of Daksha. And how the curse of Daksha is actually a boon to Narada, that we have seen. And after that, we have seen how all these daughters procreated, and how the whole Brahmanda is filled with the living entities. That's about secondary creation, dear devotees. Thank you all so very much. So very much for your presence, association, and Bhagavata Pravaha together.